We're diving in. We're diving in. 25 minutes, okay? 25 minutes should be enough. Okay, ready? Turkey Tom video on Tectone. Let's go.
Boys and girls, Thanksgiving is coming up, and everyone is thinking about, I don't know, spending time with their
Let's
family, rekindling
go!
old relationships, and having a fun, wholesome time eating some turkey at the dinner table. But before you do all of that, before you do whatever it is you think is important with your family, we've got something very important to discuss. Like more allegations of abuse. Hooray! Yes, everybody, happy Thanksgiving! We got our priorities straight this year. This year has been like the year of allegations. I mean, we had Dr. Disrespect, we had Chris Tyson, we had The Do. We've had so many different allegations to varying levels of severity, varying levels
How recent is this video? It's 10 months ago.
of evidence, varying levels of proof, and some of them have also been false. And the most recent allegations are about Tectone. He's a huge streamer. You guys probably know him as being one of these, he plays these weird anime games, okay? It's not really my thing. It's like an anime game, but it's gambling. I don't really understand it. I don't really get it. I don't really like anime. You know, it's not my world, not my thing, but he does it, and he's very successful at it. And he's so big on Twitch that he is, or rather was until this happened, a member of OTK, also known as One True King, which is basically like a streamer group, frat house sort of thing where a bunch of popular streamers make a bunch of content together, and more often than not, they accuse each other of going gorilla mode on each other sometimes, now and then. I think this is like the third time there's been allegations about someone in this specific group, which in fairness, with any concentration of people put in one place, there's bound to be an allegation between each other, especially when they're all degenerate YouTube people, degenerate streamer people, right? Like way back in the day, we had the allegations that Adriana Lee made against Crazy Slick, who was Mizkif's best friend, Mizkif obviously being a very
Where did that... I wonder where these allegations went. Oh my god. I feel bad for Adriana Lee because I'm pretty sure her story, I think her story was consistent, and in addition to it being consistent, it's true, right? I thought it was true and consistent or something. I kind of feel bad for her because I feel like she never got the, you know, she never got what she wanted. But whatever.
Very big streamer. He's also a member of OTK, and it caused a lot of strife, a lot of problems within the OTK organization. So needless to say, OTK has been in a lot of controversy and a lot of
OTK lost a ton of sponsors, and Mizkif is like never allowed on major sponsors. Oh, okay, good enough.
tweets about the situation are like, it's always OTK, which it's not always OTK, but it has happened with OTK people before. Their rep is just destroyed. I feel like Mizkif at this point is probably like, man, what have I done? But what else could really get you guys in the Thanksgiving mood aside from discussing allegations of misconduct? I mean, come on, guys. I'm basically at the dinner table right now. I'll have some allegations with a side of cranberry sauce. Now, a little bit of a disclaimer here. I'm not a huge fan of Tectone or anything, but I have seen some of his content. I've seen some of his takes around, and I think he's pretty funny. Okay, I do think he's a funny guy, so there is a slight amount of bias here in terms of that, but I don't really have any stake in whether he's innocent or guilty. We're just gonna look over the allegations as they are and try to come to our own conclusion based on the evidence that we have, which in this case, well, we'll get to it. Now, this entire drama started from Tectone's former interest, former love interest. Maybe love is a strong word there, but former interest. Her name is Pinky Chu, and even prior to this situation, they...
Tom is such a little fucker. These guys all sold out on the bullshit lawsuit. I would generally agree. But you also have to understand the amount of fucking... the ridiculous amount of pressure, the social pressure on them to disavow Destiny. Because I believe that the commentary community was going really fucking hard. And I think that, unfortunately, Turkey Tom has always had... has always been sensitive to how the commentary community perceived him. Like, he is sensitive. He is sensitive. Oh my god. But...
actually made headlines in regards to their relationship. Earlier this year, Pinky defended Tectone after people online were speculating that he had divorced his ex-wife after having an affair with Pinky Chu. And so at the time, she was clearly defending him. She was on his side. She was like, no, Tectone's a good guy. That didn't happen. He followed the boundaries of the relationship. He followed the boundaries of good standing for content creators, okay? Because, hey, if you're a content creator and you have a bad thing happen in a relationship, well, I personally think that you're done. You're toast.
Was it cheating on her with Pinky before divorce?
And like I said, and I'm going to clear it up.
Look, okay, we don't talk about my particular proclivities, okay? Jesus.
again. That's not true. Okay. I've already shown you my tweet, my first messages with Tectone. And as you can see, even with the cameras that she spied on, it was in December. Okay. December 18th is when we met in real life. December 16th is when we first ever spoke and had any kind of interaction, like online. And then here is a public divorce. The date of the filed divorce was November 21st, 2022. Okay. Freem had already moved out in September and they're already talking about and trying to get paperwork together for divorce. She didn't file it till November. Okay, so there's no cheating.
Now, months after that incident, Pinky would also vaguely talk on stream about being cheated on.
Okay, weird question time. Has anyone ever been cheated on? How do you react to something like that, by the way? Like, is it weird? Like, I know some
The classic Twitch camera angle. Nice.
people are like, oh, you'll crash out or something when you learn about that, like you got cheated on. But is it weird that for me, like, I just like, oh my God, I don't have to deal with this piece of shit anymore.
And this obviously led a lot of people to speculate that Tectone may have
Yeah, she just went right ahead and said it, which is crazy.
cheated on her in that relationship. There may have been some kind of situation there where maybe she was defending him and she didn't really mean it, or she was lying for him, she was covering for him, and then later on maybe he got her back, maybe he cheated on the wife and cheated on her. Like, there's just a lot of crazy speculation around this stuff. You guys know how it goes with any drama situation, especially with the personal lives of streamers who have some of the most parasocial audiences ever. It can get touchy. It can get very touchy. But
You guys aren't parasocial, right, guys? Right, guys? You guys aren't parasocial? You guys aren't parasocial? Just kidding. I know you guys are super parasocial. Okay?
But at this point in time, Pinky Chew was not coming out against Tectone. She was avoiding going full Blazing Saddles, Blaze of Glory, Burn It to the Freaking Ground by Linkin Park. Okay, she was avoiding that. But in September, she would actually tweet something. Please stop talking about me on stream. Stop lying. I broke up with you because I suspected you were cheating on me. Stop taking pot shots at me on stream. You know, the next day we got back together, I broke up with you on July 23rd. Didn't want to be your friends with benefits on July 26th. You wouldn't even let me ride in the car with you and Sophia, and I was outside the house drunk and alone. I'm not stupid, and I suspected cheating. Just stop. It wasn't good. It was a lot of bad. So it's obvious here that their relationship has fallen apart. They're no longer buddy-buddy. They're not getting along in the way that they used to.
How many girls have you betrayed on so far? None, because there's no girls in this space. Like, this isn't Twitch. This isn't Ethan Klein, okay? There's like, what? 5 girls in total in the DG space? Yeah.
And so now she's coming out against him and making some allegations, but it's nothing too serious, right? It is obviously, I mean, cheating's not a good thing to do but cheating's not a good thing to do. But I will say that's,
Oh, by the way, I just want to say, if you guys don't know the lore, Turkey Tom actually has his own, he actually has his own dramas when it comes to cheating. But by that I mean that he is a victim of cheating, okay? If you guys do not know, Turkey Tom once tried to...
A martini, shaken, not stirred.
Foodshops is my best friend, for real, for real.
Jose, thank you so much to the 30 HNL. Thank you. I appreciate that. Real quick lore, okay? Since I'm the lore master, okay? This is what I do. I do lore, okay? Turkey Tom has once tried to promote someone called Lyrics. You guys may have heard of Lyrics. It's okay if you haven't. Lyrics really blew up on the Mama Max drama, okay? If you guys do not know, Mama Max was someone who was exposed for basically going after people for pedo-jacketing them because, like, they're fake about it or whatever the fuck, right? That's essentially what Mama Max did, okay? Like, they went after innocent people and then pedo-jacketed them and ruined shit. Now, with that being said, okay, Lyrics really blew up on that. And then afterwards, I believe that Lyrics and Turkey Tom went to some IRL party, okay? And Turkey Tom had a girlfriend at around that time. And Lyrics, and before, they were really close, okay? So before, they were like buddies, right? I was told that Turkey Tom promoted Lyrics at every single possible angle, I guess. And then Lyrics would then go on to steal Tom's girl. Yeah. Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Realistically speaking, these are not like game-ending allegations. It's more like, okay, well, he was kind of mean to me. I thought he might have been cheating on me, but I didn't really know. And she's mad apparently that he was taking pot shots at her on stream. I don't know if that's true, but it very well could be. You know, sometimes streamers will kind of make offhand comments about their personal lives and not really realize how much of an effect it can actually have in the real world, or maybe just not realize that the person they're talking about may get mad at them and freak out. But I don't know. I haven't seen those clips and I can't seem to find them anywhere. Now, there would also be several follow-up tweets of Pinky talking about potential victims, and she specifically used the word we when talking about them. He is not lying to protect me. He is lying because he doesn't want Sophia to know we were still together. I was told by someone else he told her this same lie. And here you have him saying, you ever just lie to protect someone, but they make it so hard. So clearly she's saying like, oh, he's not lying to protect me. This isn't for my benefit. This is because he doesn't want the truth to be exposed. Ooh. Now, that same exact day, Pinky would tweet heavily insinuating that Tectone had forced his wife to sign an NDA about this abuse that allegedly happened, as well as showing pictures of what looks like plane tickets. So here she said, we both know how it treated me and your ex-wife.
I'm actually... Content creators are so paranoid about their relationships that they make their significant other sign NDAs, okay? About like, oh yeah, I don't want you talking about personal details of my relationship because otherwise I'm going to go after you legally. I have been really flip-floppy on whether or not this is ethical, okay? Because I've heard about this so many times at this point, right? For example, I'm just going to say this real quick, and I kid you not. Are you speaking from experience? No, I do not make people sign NDAs, okay? However, I have heard of, I'm not joking, I have heard rumors that Chud Logic actually makes his partners sign NDAs. However, I just want to say, there's no evidence of this. It's just hearsay, okay? Now, with that being said, I can totally understand in the aftermath of the Pixie allegations, okay? In the aftermath of the Pixie allegations, I'm not sure. Maybe it is good to make women sign NDAs. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, of course. Like, maybe it is good. Like, if women are just like going from like server to server on a BBD crash out and leaking your fucking like dick length in random fucking group chats and in random fucking streams, I don't know, man. But at the same time, you know, I totally get why it would be a really invasive thing to do to make somebody sign an NDA, especially when it comes to abuse, when it comes to relationships, right? Trying to silence somebody legally, you know, for potential abuse. So I'm just really conflicted. I have no idea. I can see the pros and cons, right? You can't NDA illegal actions. Right, yes, I agree. But the thing is that can the woman prove it? Because sometimes you want to come out with an allegation because it really did happen to you, but you can't prove it all the way legally, but you can prove it enough to the internet, right? In the court of public opinion, right? But, you know. Yeah.
I think she meant you, how you treated me and your ex-wife. We both know how he treated me and your
subject.
We both know how you treated me and your ex-wife. You had her sign an NDA to keep her quiet about the abuse, then told me specifically to go over the car clip on stream and lied to me and said it was the day you caught her cheating. But I later found out it was a lie. Just like your many lies. You used me and manipulated me to make you look like the victim, when she was the victim all along. She didn't even know Cruz till a month later. As shown here, this is how he treated both of us. Our friends saw it, my family saw it, and I'm glad I'm out. So she's essentially just accusing him of cheating here, but on top of that, she's also accusing him of abuse, which, to be clear, from what I know, it depends on what it is, but if it's like some kind of misconduct that crosses the legal boundaries, to my knowledge, you can't have someone sign an NDA for that, or if you do have them sign it, I don't think that's enforceable because like a civil contract between two people doesn't supersede the law.
But you got to keep in mind that going through the process, like sure, you can say that, yeah, I have enough evidence to show that the NDA does not protect this particular abuse that I suffered, right? But the thing is do you really want to go through the trouble of a court trial? Like, do you really want to go through the trouble of like if you're coming out with allegations against the streamer that you dated, right? You sure you want to go through that trouble? Because sometimes the trouble is also a repellent for coming out with allegations, right? Does that make sense?
That the United States government has set, so it doesn't really make sense to me. Maybe she's misinformed. Maybe she's outright lying. Who really knows? I don't know this girl. You don't know this girl, so probably not good to get too invested here. But regardless of that, this doesn't look to be completely as straightforward as she's making it. Now, this was all the way back in September, so this was months ago. But now that we have this background, it's time to get into the actual current allegations now that we've built the story a little bit. And another thing I want you to keep in mind here, I'm going to make a little bit of a disclaimer here before we go forward with this situation, okay? The important thing to remember is that there's zero actual evidence on either side when it comes to this. Now, that doesn't mean that Pinky is wrong, because she very well could be telling the truth, but it's ultimately up to the accuser to provide.
Now, I want to clarify, okay? The problem with Tectone and how he handled the allegations was that people were coming out with allegations against Tectone. However, I believe, and somebody can correct me, that the allegations against him has always been consistent by two different partners. Tectone himself has had conflicting stories himself and used Weasley ways to protect himself. As in, yes, the burden of evidence should be on the accuser, but at the same time, Tectone himself has handled these allegations and the coming out of these allegations in a bad way. Does that make sense? Which makes him look more suspicious, obviously, right? But yeah. Hey.
Provide proof beyond a reasonable doubt, and
They were. He didn't deny them for years. Yeah, which is not good. If you let allegations sit there and you don't deny them, it looks bad on your part as well. I don't know. I don't know.
not the accused, unless the accused like admits to whatever, you know, they're being accused of, despite the absence of a preponderance of evidence. We want to go by the innocent until proven guilty mentality here. Just keep that in mind as we move forward. This case is very much a he said, she said type deal, and in the absence of having,
by the way, people didn't apply that standard to Destiny, but okay. But yeah.
Anything that I can prove what she said, I have to ultimately assume that what he said may be the case. So on November 20th, Pinky would tweet.
This is the inconsistency that Destiny was talking about. When there are people in the commentary community who are like, they take the innocent until proven guilty claim very seriously. They actually have accountability within that community. Like, they fight against each other a lot, but they actually try to hold each other accountable. But the thing is that it's very clear to me that they have biases against certain groups of people and biases for certain groups of people. So the thing is that for Destiny, they hate Destiny so much that I think that they're just willing to overlook that for the most part. Yeah.
Why is it when victims try to come forward about sexual abuse, they get silenced by clout chasers and orbiters, and CEOs trying to line their pockets from advertisers? How many women with the same story have to say something till people realize they're protecting an abuser? It has baffled me how the streaming industry acts like a mini Hollywood, blacklisting victims so no one will hear them out, no one wants to support them publicly so victims are afraid to speak up, and millionaires that abuse women just continue to get away with.
Oh, no. The streaming industry is mini Hollywood. Oh yeah, absolutely. After 2 years of being in the industry and being raped repeatedly by other streamers, I can definitely confirm that it is a fucking mess, okay, up in this bitch. I think that there was a saying. There's actually a saying when it comes to streamers, right? Who does streaming as a career, like me, right? The saying goes, everyone either already has pedophile allegations against them, or there are allegations of pedophilia waiting to come out eventually, right? The more you're a streamer, the more every year the pedophile allegation like meter goes up, right? Like, think about like another thing to think about is, think about this, okay? Why the fuck is Emaru accused of pedophilia now, right? Even the most innocent people are accused of crazy allegations, right? Yeah, I don't know. It's like well, I mean, I mean, whether or not there's like actual congruence there, it's crazy because anyone has had allegations come out at some point. It's just kind of a thing, you know. Not saying that streamers don't do horrible shit because they actually do horrible shit, but you know.
Now, this is obviously a very loaded claim, and
I think what the commentary community hang on was the Destiny log to Pixie saying I'm sorry. Sure, yeah, I think that's what they're hanging on. And they would be correct, okay? Because I'm pretty sure I have said that I don't defend Destiny morally, right? When it comes to handling the Pixie thing, I just think that people misrepresent everything. Because now that you have this one point against Destiny, oh, you have to oppose Destiny on every single possible point, including Rose, including Cherry, including you turn a blind eye when J-Stoke and Queeman does their shameless shit, right? You don't have to go against him on every point, just like how you don't have to defend Destiny on every point, okay? So, yeah.
On one hand, you know, a lot of people have made similar allegations and speculations about OTK, One True King as an organization.
I shouldn't have signed that NDA with Destiny. Nah, I mean, if you're being paid like this, I mean, I know that you're being paid. So if you're being paid, I mean, fuck it. Maybe you should sign an NDA. Yeah, of course.
Because of what happened with Crazy Slick back in the day. There's a lot of info out there on the internet if you want to look it up, but essentially what happened was there was this girl named Adriana Lee. She was asleep, and some people allege that while she was asleep, a guy named Crazy Slick, who was a member of OTK and one of Mizkif's best buddies, had come over and touched her. And essentially, past that point of time, the allegation as far as Crazy Slick was not even the biggest part of it. The biggest allegation was this claim that Mizkif and Maya and these other members of OTK had tried to cover up the SA allegations. And so what Pinky is saying here is kind of alluding to that idea, alluding to that preconceived notion.
I think it's because Destiny is bi. I think it makes them uncomfortable. No, I don't think it's the bi part. I really don't think so. No.
Notion, which is that the streaming world is just like Hollywood with Harvey Weinstein and all those guys, and victims will never actually get their justice. They're being silenced, they're being blacklisted, stuff like that. But in all reality, this was just a prelude to what she would share later that day. And several comments would end up asking what exactly she was referring to, because they wanted her to elaborate on this statement, to be like, hey, you're making this very vague statement. Is this about Tectone? Is this about someone else? Is this, you know, what's going on here? Is this about your dad, Gerald? What's going on here? And at 6 p.m., she would actually validate their speculations. How are you supposed to feel if a guy is abusive and makes you cry, then shoves you?
I think it's the bi part. Maybe, but I feel like it's more the sexual lifestyle that he was living. Because you have to keep in mind the commentary community is like very anti-degeneracy. Like they talk about it as if it's like a law, right? Oh, you can't be you can't be pro-degeneracy. You can't be pro. Also, in addition, the commentary community is center-right, right? When it comes to their politics, like their actual politics, they're center-right. Yeah, the commentary community is center-right. So, like, there's like multiple driving factors, I think, when it comes to hating Destiny. But yeah.
Your head on his crotch and demands you suck him off. And his excuse is emotion just turns me on when you cry. The gorilla mode allegations are in full swing. Jeez. Or when you are asking that you don't feel comfortable doing something sexual and he records you and demands you stop making faces and pretend you like it. Or you say you don't want to do it anymore and he shoves your head down till you throw up. Guilt trips you into giving BJs and says, do your job, you don't pay rent. I took you to a water park so you owe me. And all you can do is sleep upstairs because you know what he's going to keep telling you to do. He doesn't touch you, doesn't have sex with you, just keeps you around as a BJ machine and degrades you. A BJ machine. Isn't that a thing you can buy? I know this is probably a bad time to bring this up, but can you buy that? Isn't that like a thing? Like a product? I've heard. So I've heard.
Well, you could be referring to a prostitute, which is a sex worker, which is technically a BJ machine because you're like buying a product, okay? You're buying a service. The service is a blowjob, okay? Or you're talking about like a fellatio sex toy, okay? But
I wouldn't know anything about it. That's just what I've heard. Don't goon. Makes you feel ugly. Don't wear baggy clothes. Straighten your hair. At least wear eyeliner around the house. Your self-worth totally crushed. I hate that people warned me. I didn't listen because I was so manipulated. I hate that I was lied to when another girl who went through worse was trying to come forward. Me and her are good now, but I should have listened. When you're in it, you feel blind to reason.
This is talking about Frame, okay? Or that's Tectone's ex-wife, right? So basically, Tectone's ex-wife also came with allegations against Tectone. And then Tectone weaponized his new girlfriend against his ex-wife. Okay? Against his ex-wife, which is fucked up as fuck. Okay, so Tectone manipulated his new girlfriend into bashing his ex-wife on stream, or you know, to go against her in public, right? And then afterwards, after Pink also separated from Tectone, she began to dig deeper, and she and Freem eventually began to team up together against Tectone with similar allegations, right? So two different women coming together to blame Tectone, right? And you have to keep in mind that typically when one girl comes out with allegations against someone, I'm going to be skeptical because a lot of people are fucking cloud chasers, okay? And like, you know, I'm always skeptical of like streamer allegations in general, right? Because I care about the truth and whatnot. I care about providing enough evidence. But the thing is that if you have two different girls and one of them was against the other at some point, and they both came out with like similar allegations, and in addition, like it's like consistent with the way that you talk about yourself, and with the clips on stream, and with everything, and the way that you treat the drama is like very fucking scuffed. Yeah, I'm gonna be looking at you a certain way.
I see some comments that are worrying, and I just want to let y'all
Let me
know
hear.
I am
It
out.
keeps on
and have
getting in
own
my
place
mouth,
and I'm
okay?
safe. Don't want to worry anyone. I've been taking it one day at a time since this. Now, while she didn't explicitly name Tectone, it was kind of obvious to people replying who she was referring to because of the prior knowledge that she had a kind of relationship with Tectone and something was going on there. She had defended him in the past, so people were like, all right, well, who else could it really be? I mean, it has to be this one obvious guy. Unless it's someone else, she's just not saying it. So all of the replies would reach out in support of her, and Pinky would end up tweeting about this a few hours later, where she said, I feel so much better. Thank you for the love and support. I hope the next girl sees it and is able to stand up for herself. I think I needed to say my piece so I could move on. I don't care about things blowing up. I just wanted my side to be heard. Now, obviously, at this point, Tectone being a huge streamer, a lot of people are talking about this. There's a lot of people who don't like him because of, you know, some political statements he's made that are kind of vague, but they kind of ascribe a certain belief system to it. There's people who don't like him.
Well, now it's not very vague, okay? Because back then he was like hiding his power level a little bit, but then everyone like generally kind of concluded, I guess, a little bit that when it comes to Tectone, and since he's an orbiter of Asmongold, I think because he's an orbiter of Asmongold, people were just kind of like, oh, well, I guess he's like okay with Asmongold's beliefs, right? So which is an okay thing to conclude, right? But yeah.
Because he's gotten in certain dramas and they feel he came out on the wrong end of it. So there's a lot of people out there who don't like him in general, who do exist. But then there's also people who do like him and want to defend him. He has a very loyal fan base. I'd say one of the more...
Tectone is not good when it comes to handling drama. I know, shocking news, okay? Yeah. Just not good. He's always on the losing end. Always. Except when it comes to gacha game drama, okay? When it comes to gacha games and shit like that, but in my opinion, that's not real drama. Like, that's not, like, you're a disagreement over a game mechanic is not, like, disagreement over some League of Legends characters or some shit, like, for as an example, right? Not necessarily gacha games, right? Is not the same as, like, the real fucking drama when it comes to, like, when it comes to, like fucking rape, right?
Loyal fan bases on Twitch, especially in the gacha game community. And so with everyone talking about it, Tectone himself felt the need to respond, and he would actually do it on stream and on Twitter.
So if you're confused, you're going to stay confused, because this shit is not about content for me. Okay? I know the person who needs to hear this is going to hear this, and I mean this genuinely, okay? I did everything for you. I helped you with everything. I fixed everything for you. I was there for you like nobody else was there for you in your whole life. Your words, not mine. The fact that you're letting these people get into your ear, people, the same people who are talking behind my back illegally, by the way, the same people who placed me under an NDA, where I cannot talk about them. I know they're talking to you right now behind the scenes, and they're getting you to believe in bullshit. You're talking to retard after retard, letting them get in your head and make you imagine problems that never happened. And it's insane how these things that have happened in your own mind, you are now coming at me.
Now, this NDA that Tectone mentions makes me think that maybe his ex-wife somehow got into communication with Pinky, and they started talking. Again, this is highly speculative. We don't really know what's going on here, but from the information we have previously, I think it's fair to say that may be the case. There's some behind-the-scenes act.
By the way, like, that's just about the worst fucking response you can ever give to a drama, right? Like, I know the burden should be on the accuser to provide the evidence, but, like, that's just about, like, the worst. How do you make a worse response than something like that? What the fuck? You even mentioned that you made people sign an NDA. Like, dude, that's... Oh my god. Never ever address drama like this, please.
Going on between these people who believe that they were abused, or maybe
Please.
they don't believe they were abused and they just hate Tectone and want to get at him. Once again, we don't really know. It's hard to really say definitively what's going on here with these people's intentions, especially with the absence of evidence. So it's really tough to say what's going on. I think when you watch the clip, a lot of people took what he said as like, oh, well, he's not denying the abuse, so he must have done it, right? But that's not really what's going on here. If anything, more of what he's saying is like, hey, it really hurts me that this person would say these things when I had done everything for them. Now, obviously, just because he said that doesn't mean he's innocent, but it also doesn't mean that he's guilty. And I think that's the important thing to remember. I just don't like the fact that a lot of people are jumping to conclusions about this when we have no evidence that he's done anything wrong, really. Now, with his response tweet, he went into far more detail. And there he said, as many of you are aware by now, Pinky Shoe, my ex-girlfriend, has accused me of a number of things that I can't let go unaddressed. I've been accused of sexual assault, potentially prostitution, and severe emotional abuse, among other things. I want to make this extremely clear. Everything she accuses me of in her statement is a complete lie. Nothing about these accusations is true. They are entirely made up. Out of respect for our previous relationship, I will give Pinky Shoe 2 weeks to apologize for these statements and acknowledge that they are false and inaccurate. If this does not happen, I will pursue legal action against Pinky Shoe and those who knowingly repeat her lies with a reckless disregard for the truth. I have preserved all text messages, videos, and additional evidence from the time during the relationship and am more than willing to prove my innocence in a court of law. I am more than willing also to comply with any legal investigation into the truth of what actually happened. I am certain that when all the facts are laid out, my innocence will be unquestionable. As a victim of SA myself, I find it absolutely disgusting that someone would weaponize a lie on this
The essay is by his dad, okay? Presumably.
scale, using false claims of SA and R word as a weapon to achieve some sort of revenge for how a relationship ended does more damage to real victims than almost anything else. It's because of liars like Pinky Shoe that weaponize trauma that legitimate victims are questioned and aren't trusted. Because of how serious these accusations are, I will not discuss them in any capacity until I am certain there is no other path forward and I'm forced to pursue legal action to clear my name of these malicious lies. Thank you to all of my community for sticking with me through this. Y'all's support means the world to me and I'm not going anywhere. My content will remain unchanged as I have done nothing wrong and I will never let a baseless lie stop me from doing what I love. So right off the bat, I mean, he is outright denying the allegations here. He's
I'm cranking my hog to you as we speak. Good to know.
saying I didn't do anything.
You can,
He's saying
you can
the
crank it
relationship
in
between
private,
me
okay?
and Pinky Shoe ended poorly, and as a result,
Good to
she
know,
is
though.
trying to use our poor ending of a relationship to claim that she was assaulted, when in reality, nothing actually happened. That's his
NDA for a relationship isn't normal, Lamau. Yeah, but neither is a relationship with a streamer, right? Like, if you sign up to have a relationship with a streamer, you have to acknowledge that, like, there's like a 99% chance things will not work out. And, who the fuck knows, right?
claim. Now, Twitter's reaction to this was somewhat mixed. Obviously, it's kind of along the lines of what you would expect for someone like Tectone, who has some controversy behind him. People who
Fin sitting, boring BS. Yeah, yeah, but sadly, that's Turkey Tom, right? Yeah. Like, Turkey Tom, again, yeah, whatever.
like him say he's innocent. People who don't like him say he's guilty. That's just the way it goes, right? That's the way that the human brain works, unfortunately. Evidence does not matter. Having anything dead to rights does not matter. It's just, if he is a guy I like, he is not guilty. If he's a guy I don't like, he is guilty. That's literally it. But one of the funniest replies was from Keemstar. He replied to Tectone's tweet saying, I have no idea why all you streamers date these OnlyFans clout demons. You guys always get wrecked in the end.
I feel as though Turkey Tom should show the portions, because the thing is that this isn't the complete story, technically speaking, right? Turkey Tom needs to show the portions where Tectone is like blatantly lying and weaponizing his trauma and trying to cry bully his way out of like allegations. Like, he needs to show the full story, right? And I have no doubt that Tom knows the full story, because Tom is like a kiwi farmer, right? Tom, like, what Tom does is that he, like, condenses kiwi farm threads into videos. So, yeah, like, he has no excuse not to show, like, a fuller story of things, because that's what kiwi farms does, right? So, yeah, I mean, I expect better from Tom, but it is what it is.
One way or another. Classic Keemstar coming in, had a good take. He had a good take. He doesn't always have a good take, but in this situation, I think he had a good take. Now, another guy here from the politics sphere of Twitch would also come out, a guy named Mike from PA. He's known for punching couches in the past. He's also known for making some death threats against other streamers, and he would say, the allegations against Tectone are horrifying. I hope Twitch does something quickly to keep this community safe. So here he's essentially encouraging that Tectone be censored over unproven allegations because of the fact that he doesn't really like him or doesn't like his political takes, basically. I feel like that's not a good way to go about it. I feel like, you know.
Okay, but do you know what is not unproven? But do you know what's not unproven, Tom? Okay, never mind. This is a crap video. Fuck me. You know what's not unproven? Because the thing is that I understand if you're waiting for the results of the lawsuit to come out, but you cannot deny that if multiple women come out against the same streamer for similar crimes or similar offenses, it raises the credibility of that particular allegation higher than just one girl coming out and schizo posting, right? Like, I don't think anyone disagrees with this. Like, I really don't think anyone disagrees with this, right? Even if, by the way, I'm pretty sure most rape, like, offenses are convicted off of multiple women coming forward and having the same story, right? If that makes sense? Does that make sense? Like, I'm pretty sure most offenses, like being convicted in a fucking court of law, is based off of, like, multiple, like, witness and victim testimonies, right?
If the allegations are proven to be true in a court of law and you want to ban him at that point, okay, fair enough. But at this point, there's literally no evidence that he did anything wrong. She said he did something wrong. He said he didn't. So what the truth is up in the air. The only...
Well, that's fine, but we have to talk about, like, the percentage. And we also have to talk about the way that Tectone handled this drama. We have to talk about the way that Tectone has done it.
People who really know truly are them, but with no evidence, I have to assume he's innocent at this point. But Mike from PA is just like, all right, he's guilty, ban him now. And several people who also had beef with Tectone in the past would also tweet making fun of him, basically saying they're glad these allegations are happening. Like this guy, for example, named Canths, he said, I am shocked by the news that Tectone, a worse version of Asmongold, is a piece of shit. Who could have seen this coming? And his evidence for this is that he said the word retard. Who cares? Who cares? How does this mean anything? How does this mean anything? Because he said the R word. He said the R word. Well, I guess anyone who says retard is just touching women. Apparently that's what this guy believes. He doesn't like the fact that he made a joke tweet that said it's okay to be white. Which, to be clear, I don't think Tectone's doing anything weird there. I think people are making this out like it's some kind of white supremacist dog whistle. But like in current year, it's really not. He's just making a joke. They also don't like.
Okay, wait. This is I wouldn't say it's a dishonest video, it's just not a good video. Yikes. Yeah, no, that's not a good... like, sadly, Shamu, this is the best video on Tectone, I would say. Like, this is, like, straight up... Like, this guy is a Tectone A-logger at this point, okay? But, like, the effort that he puts into analyzing Tectone is, like, far better than whatever Turkey Tom slop, whatever the fuck. Like, I can tell this was real effort done into it, right? You know, I think that if you want to criticize... If you don't want to criticize Tectone based off of an unfinished, like, lawsuit, that's fine. You know what? I'm okay with that, right? After I'm defending Destiny, right? But the thing is I think that you should at least look at the way that Tectone has talked about his father and keeps on bringing up his father. The only reason why anybody talks about Tectone's dad is because he keeps on bringing up his own dad constantly. He does it constantly, okay? Like, I'm pretty sure we watched a Tectone video and Tectone just brought up his own dad. So it's like, I don't know, dude. But like, in terms of his dad is like is a famous sex pest. Like he is literally convicted on sexual assault charges, and I guess technically sexual harassment, sexual assault, whatever the fuck charges, right? Basically bad sexual charges. Okay, like he's literally convicted in a court of law, criminal court. Okay, and Tectone sandwashes his dad. Like Tectone openly sandwashes his dad by saying, "Oh yeah, no, my dad is fine. He never did anything." That's fucked up. Like, yeah, these are real allegations with real victims. Like, there's like 7 victims. What are you talking about? Here, I'll show you guys.
Hassan would respond, basically calling Tectone a but what happens
Because the thing is that if you don't want to go after Tectone for one thing, you got to go after him for another, okay? Because the other is also really bad.
next elevates this story to an all-timer.
Apparently, Tectone, as soon as he came after me and talked about his father's like military record or whatever, the internet found out that dad did the same.
I actually hate that Shamu is the only one that produces a video like this, right? An effort post. Yeah, it's pretty sad. I think, and by the way, Shamu isn't someone, like, I don't know much about Shamu himself, but I'm pretty sure Shamu A-logged the Thorpe family before as well. And in addition, Shamu is a Destiny anti-fan, Queeman fan. So Shamu is sadly like one of these Destiny anti-fans, okay? I do believe. From I think what I know, but at the same time, that doesn't discredit this Tectone video, because this Tectone video is really well done, okay? But yeah, that's it. Just want to put that out there.
That he did.
And victims like Heath Phillips. When he told his commander, his report was ignored. The Department of Defense says 19,000 incidents of assault occurred in 2010 alone.
Sick X, the downfall of tech. Watch. Oh, you put in a self promo. The downfall of Tectone. Sure, maybe.
Nearly 90% went unreported.
Biggest photo you see is of Colonel Michael Robertson. He was convicted of 14 accounts of assault.
Turns out Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, folks.
Hey, you know they got your mans. They got your mans on assault charges. Yeah, you be hanging with. The you be hanging with. And it was your
I love that.
It was your boy. How you grew up with him.
After being embroiled in abuse and allegations for months, Tectone's own father turned out to be possibly the most infamous sex pest in U.S. military history. His father was such a that they literally had televised C-SPAN Congress hearings in an attempt to stop future assaults by using him as the example.
I rise again today to draw attention to the epidemic in our military of assault. 19,000 women and men each year are or assaulted in the military. This travesty is not being addressed, and I will continue to speak out on this floor until it does. Today, I would like to tell the story of one of the 8% that were prosecuted. The story of Colonel Michael Robertson, who commanded Fort Bliss's 31st Combat Support Hospital.
Yes, Tectone's dad was so famous for being a sexual pest, for sexually harassing and possibly sexually assaulting women, all right, that he ended up being the figurehead of the movement to stop military rape.
Hospital at Camp Dwyer, a military base and airfield in the Helmand River Valley in Afghanistan. Last week, Colonel Robertson was convicted by a military judge of 14 charges, including having on his government computer, harassing 3 women, and assaulting 5 women. 8 women that served under his command testified at great cost to their careers and their privacy. Colonel Robertson routinely touched them without permission on their breasts, thighs, and buttocks, and encouraged them to look at the computer. Some testified the harassment occurred daily. Despite repeated warnings, Colonel Robertson also emailed friends and female subordinates. What makes the defense's answer to all these actions? That all of these jokes and the touching were attempts to boost morale. Colonel Robertson, the majority of assailants are older and of higher rank than their victims. They abuse not only their authority, but also the trust of those they are responsible for protecting. Survivors can email me at stopmilitary@mail.house.gov if they would like to speak out.
This was all part of the creation of the Assault Training Oversight and Prevention Act, which was created because of Tectone's father. You may be thinking, wow, can't get any more absurd than this, right? Well, you would be wrong. As Tectone regularly would have his father on live streams and podcasts. And what do you think that typically looked like?
Obviously, you're not aware of my first podcast with Techie.
Oh, the one where I showed you.
So this is all part of Tectone's sing-washing campaign for his dad, okay? So his dad, the infamous rapist, okay? The infamous rapist, all right? Yes, I am going to call him a rapist, okay? Because you're not, listen, okay? He's not a convicted rapist, technically. He's like a convicted sexual harasser, whatever the fuck, okay? But what is the what is the implication when he is being convicted on assault in addition to sexual harassment? What do you think is the implication there? Like, we might as well just call him a rapist, okay? Because like that's the best way to like refer to him or whatever the fuck, right? But yeah, I don't know.
What do you think about that?
Do it again.
Daddy issues?
They all have daddy issues. Well, she has a facial expression as if to say, hey, sailor. I like the little short dress. She looks like she works out.
One of the first things Tecto says to me is like, sup, dude? By the way, my 17-year-old father thinks you're hot. And I was like, uh-oh.
First thing he did was he put me into some kind of headset and costume and put me in this AI room.
VR chat.
Am I moving? Oh, my God.
Yeah, so that's chill. And that's
Yeah, but how? Oh, Lord, have mercy. And so he's got me in that headset, and I'm in there, and
I'm holding them on.
It's getting bad. And,
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's as dressed up as a girl.
I gotcha.
Right, because that's the thing.
Yeah, or whether it's you dressed up as a girl.
Probably mostly Asmund.
Yeah.
We're gonna give him a heart attack, I swear to God.
A convicted pervert father and son bonding, where you feel up anime waifus in VR that may or may not be men, is insane, even by my standards.
And you can, the sensors made it feel like I was being touched.
Damn.
Yeah, and
Yeah, and then remember, okay, like if you have Asmongold, Tectone, and Emaru on the same podcast episode or some shit, that's a episode with a lot of viewers, okay? Like, you're saying-washing him. You're saying-washing your evil father in front of so many people. By the way, I don't care if you have relatives that are bad people, okay? I don't believe in sins of the father affect the sins of the son, you know, that kind of shit, right? I just straight up don't believe in that. But obviously, because it's very unfair, right? Nobody can choose how they were born or anything like that, right? But I will judge you. I will judge you if you're a grown-ass adult like Tectone, okay? And you're trying to sweep for your dad, who is like one of the most infamous rapists on planet Earth, yeah?
It felt like this one character was unzipping my pants.
Freckles, the hair.
And I want you to bark for me.
Woof. Wait a minute, I got another dog. I got another. Want to hear my other dog? That's my other dog. How we doing? She looks real submissive and looks like, in the words of Halsey, I can take a pounding.
What do you think?
6 years old, maybe?
Yeah.
That's what she looks like.
Do you know what a lolly is?
Looks like a 3-year-old.
What a furry is?
No.
They're people who dress up in like dog suits. But you know what pegging is.
I can tell you a great pegging story.
One of them.
8 stepmoms? Hold up. What?
7 stepmoms? How many have I had?
I'm a bad man, but it ain't, okay? It's like saying you're going to make not have the money shot. It ain't, there ain't a money shot. You know, people ask me what was about the military. What did you like? Well, I love the camaraderie.
Stop military.
Incredibly, Tectone brought his father into the online arena, and even though he had sexual charges, thought it would be wise to have him goon out to lolly and VR gotcha game degeneracy.
Yeah, okay, you guys get the point.